Okay. All right, so we should have a live broadcast rolling now, so folks should be able to see anything on our YouTube feed, as well as this portion of it will be captured in our recording, which we'll post after we finish up the demo here. So thanks for everybody who has joined or is watching now. I'll mention just a brief apology and give a little bit of background here before we get started. We have done demos in the past, and I did not realize that lists weren't getting these invites if I wasn't a member of the list. So folks are probably seeing this invite for the first time. If you're interested in seeing things that we've done before, we have those videos posted to our Taiga instance. You can always feel free to ping myself or Adam or anybody on the team if you need a pointer to those things to see work that we've demoed in the past. Today, though, we are going to be demoing a few things. We'll have demos from a few folks on the team. Adam Miller is going to be just giving a quick update on some of the changes that we've made with the way that we're organizing our docs for the team. Jay Gorguski is going to be showing us some changes to Koji. We'll have Kushal demoing some of the changes that we're making to AutoCloud to be able to do non-gating tests. And Sayan, who is new to the official team, probably not new to everyone, will be showing us a new tool that he's been working on called bugyou. We'll get together some links to information that you can use to read up a little bit more on the page that we'll post the demos as well. So, but certainly if you have any questions or need pointers, let me know or ask in channel. But with that, I'll go ahead and hand off. Adam, if you want to get us started on just a quick update on the doc side, we can start there.
Sure. So for anybody who's in Python land for a lot of development work, is probably relatively familiar with Sphinx documentation. We have converted from using the Fedora wiki to doing Sphinx doc, and I'm just going to do a quick screen share. Can everybody see my terminal?
Yep.
Okay. So for those familiar, the layout should look relatively simple. You'll have a source and build and a make file, and if we see the make, it'll give us our options of what to convert to. We've put everything in restructured text, and so all of our old standard operating procedures, our pages for general overview of what the Fedora release engineering team does, general philosophy, things of that nature about reproducibility are all listed here. And the motivation behind this was to kind of centralize everything to ease the onboarding of new contributors out in the community space who might want to help improve, or if they have questions, it's kind of easier for folks who focus on the code repository to see issues that might be filed and things like that. So just a quick look. It's pretty standard restructured text. Hopefully nothing jumps out as gotchas for people who are wanting to contribute or anything like that. And then really quick, I will show what they look like rendered. So they're hosted in Pagure. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it, but Pagure under release engineering, and the docs page can be found on docs.pagure.org/releng. And then if you are interested in the code, you can go to pagure.io/releng. And the documentation is also available under the docs tab. It will be rendered and showed here. So there's that, and if anybody wants to help contribute to documentation for Fedora release engineering, please feel free to fork the repository and create a pull request right here. And that's it for the documentation update for the sprint.
Cool. Kushal, do you want to go next?
Yes, I can. Just give me a second. Share my screen. Screen's here. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so the major feature I was working on during this sprint is about non-gating tests. So basically, in AutoCloud or underneath in Tunit, we had this idea about having different kind of tests which we run. So we can mark a test which we should pass. Basic means it should return a 0 as a exit code, or it can fail. And now we have a feature where we can have different test cases which can either pass or fail. But Tunit or AutoCloud will continue to execute all other test cases. So, and to start with, we are actually converting few test cases from CentOS T-functional shell scripts and converted them into Python test cases as a non-standard Python unit test case, which we can then execute. Uh, so this is an example text command file. So any command which starts with a double hash or double pound space, in this case, is a non-gating test, means this test can either pass or fail, and we'll get a consolidated result at the end of the run. So if I come to this tab, you can see at the very end, it talks about non-gating states status. We had total 2 non-gating tests, and both of them passed, failed 0. In case anything fails, we'll get the number here. So the idea is to open up this non-gating test to the community, or actually both getting and non-gating test to the community. Anyone who wants to contribute for these test cases, if they can come and talk to us over pound Fedora-Cloud channel, and we can point you how you can start writing new test cases for Fedora Cloud team. These tests run both for Fedora Cloud base images and atomic images. For cloud and Vagrant, both sides. That is all from my side.
Okay, and as we're going, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in here, or feel free to toss them in .irc, either one. But we'll go ahead and jump over. Sayan, are you ready to do the bugyou demo?
Yes. So, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
No.
1 minute. Oh, sorry. Yeah, now?
No.
Okay, so.
There we go.
Okay, so now you can see that. Okay, so bugyou is basically a automatic bug reporting.
Sorry, Sayan, to interrupt you. Is there anything that you can do to make that text bigger?
Yeah. Now?
That's good.
Yeah. So bugyou is a automatic bug reporting tool. So so what it does is that it listens to the Fed messages and based on it follows a particular topic, and based on the topic it processes those particular messages and creates bugs in different bug providers. So currently it only supports bugyou, and so as you know about AutoCloud, so AutoCloud is a tool which does testing of images, automatic testing of images. So in AutoCloud we have like whenever a image test fails, we publish that particular message to Fed message. So in currently bugyou is currently works with AutoCloud. So here you can see I have listened to the AutoCloud messages. So currently I'm this is my local instance, so I'm listening to the local messages. So here you can see that I am listening to the failed and the successful message AutoCloud messages. So and whenever the message comes to the bugyou consumer, it looks if the issue is already there or not. If it's already there, then it updates. Like if the message has failed, then what it does is that it updates using a comment. So it basically comments that this image failed again, and if there's a successful message for that particular image, it closes the ticket for that particular issue. So let me show you. Let me run the code. So here I have the bugyou consumer running, and now I have written for local testing. I've created a fixtures file which has like messages which is the similar to that of AutoCloud. So you can see here that there are two failed messages to reproduce the failed issues, and there is one at the last. We have, let me, yeah. So here you can see I have failed messages, and at the end I have one successful message. Okay, so so basically it would uh, create an issue in Pagure, and then since we have two failed messages, it would create like issue first, issue in Pagure, and then since we are giving another failed message, so it would comment again, and finally there is a success message. So it would close the particular close that particular issue in Pagure. So let me publish those messages to Fed message, and you can see the Fed message consumer has received those messages. So it did the work, and now if I go to the browser, so let me share my browser first. Okay. So can you see my browser?
Yep.
Okay. So currently it creates the issues in atomic images. It's a repo in Pagure. So if you see, there is one closed ticket here. So if I go to the closed ticket section, you will see that the Fedora cloud-based image of release 22 has failed. So you there was some issue. I was doing some testing here. Let me publish it again. Yeah, so here you can see that there are two messages. The first one is created that the image Fedora cloud-based image for the release 22 failed, and you can see the output of that particular job in AutoCloud. And then again, since the image test failed, so it just commented on that particular issue. And once we had the successful message, what it did was that it closed that particular ticket. So this is the current workflow of bugyou. So in future, I will be making it more generic. So there would be more bug providers, like it would support Pagure, Track, and GitHub, and the plugin would be also generic. So I'm working on it. So if you want to like contribute, just jump into the Fedora app channel and ping me. My arsenic is Sayan. So that's all from my side.
Okay, so lots of good work on the testing side for us. So Jay, do you want to do your demo now?
Sure. Is my terminal visible?
It is, and I think this will probably be new for most folks, so if you wouldn't mind giving just a quick overview of what the end goal is here.
Sure. I'm working on enhancing Koji so that it is capable of generating Yum repositories of RPMs that are signed with GPG keys. This is going to be an enabler for future work where users will be able to create installation DVDs or other media that will have signed RPMs in it, which is required for shipping. It kind of helps with a little bit of self-service. It helps with a little more regular testing, so we can keep producing these things and so on. So to that end, I've worked on, there are multiple components to Koji. So I've worked on the client and the hub so far. I'm currently working on the builder, extending the builder code so it understands how to build the signed repositories. So here's like the usage so far. This is not complete. more features and stuff like that are going to be added over time. But the important thing is that for the usage, you would do koji, signed repo, and then some options. Then you specify the tag that has all of the packages and builds that you're interested in, or the RPMs that you're interested in, and then you pass it in GPG key IDs. This work assumes that the RPMs have already been signed and that they have already been imported into koji. If that is problematic, then we can talk about how to better integrate that in the future. But for now, I'm making that assumption. So if I do something like list out what's in a tag, some of you may have seen this kind of output before. This is the collection of builds that are in a tag. So if I create a signed repo of it, what I'm expecting is every RPM of every build in that tag is going to get written out to disk somewhere. So let's see. I before it. So this is submitting a task to my own local koji instance, and that's why the executable is actually called koji, because I've narcissistically named it after myself. So that way, it's not actually going out to Fedora or Red Hat's internal one. This task is ultimately going to fail because when it reaches the builder, it's going to hit a bunch of code that I just slapped in there and didn't actually complete yet. So we'll ignore that for now. But the important thing is you can see I've given it some random tag that has the builds I'm interested in, and I've given it 2 GPG keys as well. And as soon as this, you'll see this drops out. Actually, we don't have to sit and wait for it. What I can do is look at the contents of what this has produced. The result of this is going to go in the repos subdirectory within the koji file system. And then next comes the tag that you asked for, and then comes the 1130 was the most latest one that we worked on. I go into the architecture that I specified, and package list is the important piece. So if you take a look inside here, this is a package file that the create repo command that's going to be run on the builder is going to accept. So the important thing here is that koji on the hub has successfully identified which packages it should include. So all the ones that were identified earlier or are associated with the builds that are tagged in are here. And if you notice that the command that I passed in, I gave it 2 GPG keys. These are passed in order of preference. So the first one was this FD one, and then the second one was this F21 blah 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 one. These are actually Red Hat's keys, and I just use them just because it's convenient. But the idea is that in here in this demo, the FD blah 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 was preferred over the F21 blah 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 one. So that was reflected in this output here. So I've got GPG key preferences working so far. But yeah, you can tell that the repo data, if we look at like this whole directory here, it's pretty much, there's nothing else in there. If I break out over to the web UI, is that still visible, or is it looking at the terminal right now?
We're still in the terminal.
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can fix Hangouts for that. I guess I want this. About that.
That's good.
Okay. So if I go back to the summary, I go to the task I just created. You can see that ultimately it failed, but the subtask where it goes out and creates the package list completed, I can show the result, which has a nice traceback that I'm going to debug later. But that's it so far. So I've got the basic use case for the client and the hub code written, and the web UI presents it. So now I just have to actually make the builder do the work. And what that's going to entail is running create repo, passing in that package file, and then including all of the RPMs in the results. And that's it.
All right. So that was the set of changes that we wanted to demo. If you have questions now that you'd like any comments on or you'd like to discuss with anybody, just a reminder, if you've joined in the middle, that we are in #Fedora-meeting. Feel free to toss questions in there. Feel free to toss questions later into #Fedora-releng, and we'll be there as well. We do these demos about once a month, every 4 weeks, I think is what it's scheduled for technically. So we'll be doing this again in December. I'm going to just share in just a second. What you expect for us to be demoing is work that we're currently tracking on our priorities page, which is a new exciting page. So the team is working to make priorities a little bit more public and make it easier for folks to see what's coming up. So we do have a priority pipeline page on the wiki that will be, you can expect to see work coming from either the immediate priorities bucket, which are things that we're wrapping up now, or our F24 commitments, which are the things that we plan to get done for F24. So you can see assign repos down there, and some of the 2-week atomic work that is basically driving the work that Kushal and Sayan demoed here. So if you want to contribute to that, any feedback there, questions, etc., feel free to reach out just the same as if you were asking questions about any of the demos that we had. But otherwise, if we don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up for the day. So thanks everybody for joining and watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in a month. We'll get this posted just as soon as it's available. Thanks.